my lovelies, welcome to another Lissa video. Today, let's talk about how I set up my day, how I plan it, and basically what I eat in a day. So first thing in the morning, what I do is I wake up and I tell myself, today I am a raw vegan. Once I set the tone for the day, I decide on what I'm gonna have to eat. And I wanna go over what I typically eat in any given day and why I plan the day the way I do. Now, if I don't eat enough calories or skip meals, then things start to look a little bit good. Like pizza starts to look good if you haven't eaten. So when you start to feel those little cravings or you start to look at food and you're like, that looks like it would be good, that's when I know that I haven't had enough to eat. So I always make sure that I get a lot of calories first thing in the morning. My day follows a motto that I've shared on my Instagram before, but fruit in the morning and veggies at night make a girl happy, healthy, and light. And this is something that I live by, so I always have fruit in the morning and veggies at night. I'll do fruit in the morning with a big banana smoothie or whatever, and then I snack on fruit throughout the day. I have a fruiting vegetable salad with tender lettuce, so like butterleaf lettuce or baby lettuce, like baby spinach, baby kale, really, really tender greens in my salad with a lot of fruiting vegetables. And the reason I call them fruiting vegetables is because they're vegetables, but they're actually fruit. So things like tomatoes and zucchini, cucumbers, squashes, peppers, all of those are actually fruit. From what I know is that they were categorized as vegetables as a loophole around a tax law in like the 1800s or something like that. So we all know them as vegetables, but they're actually fruit. And a fruit is basically determined by it grows on a tree, starts as a flower, and has seeds inside. So if it's got those three things, it's a pretty safe bet that it's a fruit. So when I call them fruiting vegetables, I'm talking about those non-sweet fruits that we think of as vegetables. So I will do tender lettuce with tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, maybe some zucchini or whatever in a salad with a low fat dressing or a no fat dressing. Most of the time it's no fat, but sometimes I'll throw a teaspoon of chia seeds in there just to get a little extra fat and my omega-3s in the lunch dressing. Then I'll snack on a little bit of fruit if I feel like it. If I need a little boost or if I'm out, I'll always have a couple bananas, or I will snack on fruiting vegetables after lunch. And then dinner is always going to be my really grounding meal. So that is where I have my fats. Now, again, you guys know that I'm not anti-fat. I'm just anti too much fat. And we will know that we've had too much fat when you get lethargic, when you start to have really big cravings for more fat and more fatty things with sugar. And you'll know over time if you eat too much fat when you start to get candida symptoms, rashes, itchy skin, brain fog, all of that kind of stuff. So that's when you know you have too much fat, but it's typically between 10, 15, maybe max about 20% fats for any person. And you'll want to play with it because it can be different for everybody, but you want to stay on the low fat side. And if you do your fats, it's best to have them with your greens because we really don't need fat to absorb stuff from fruit. Fruit is super easy to digest and we get everything we need from them. But greens have fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin K, which we need fat to help absorb from. So if you're having like your dinner with fats, then your heavier greens, I would stick to dinner with the fats. So I'll have like a kale salad with a creamier dressing, or I'll have my chili. Sometimes I will put kale in my chili and add a little bit of the sour cream to the top. Or I'll have a creamy dressing with maybe some chard, or I'll make wraps with collard greens. So I always save my really heavy greens and fats with dinner. This is also good because if you have your fats and greens first thing in the morning, it can bring you down because fats and greens take longer to digest than fruit does. So fruit is an easier form of energy first thing in the morning and throughout the day. And then as the day goes on and you start to wind down from work or whatever, then that is the most ideal time to have your slower digesting foods. You know, when you're watching TV or you're headed to bed in a couple hours, that is probably the best time for that. Anyways, this is how I do it. And this has worked for me for almost 3 years. So I'm just sharing with you guys about how I plan out my day. So fruit in the morning, fruit as snacks, fruiting vegetables for lunch, and heavier greens and fats for dinner. This is how I've planned out my meal plan. You can find that in a print version on Amazon. You can also get an ebook version. The link is right here and in the description below. If you're interested in that, that's typically how I plan it. Sometimes I'll have a little higher fat for lunch, but if I do have a higher fat day, or if I want to have like a whole avocado, for example, I will do no fat with breakfast and no fat with lunch so I can have the fat with dinner. So again, I'm not anti-fat. If you want to have fat, then make sure you eat enough calories to balance the fat back down to low fat. So that's encompassing how I do my day. And if you guys like this video, please click like and subscribe to my channel to get notifications for more. You can find me on Facebook. I am Lissa Raw Food Romance, on Instagram at Raw Food Romance, and on Snapchat, Lissa Raw Vegan. So until the next video, guys, love y'all and fruit on.